Hello. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Samira and I am delighted to be here with you today on behalf of Oxbridge X. So about Oxbridge X, we specialise in helping students with 11 plus exam, helping them build their confidence and master the skills they need to excel. So with years of experience tutoring 11 plus students, I've helped countless children succeed into their entrance exams and gaining a place at the school of their choice. So today I'm going to guide you through some 11 plus questions today. I've handpicked them, some tricky questions that have come up on the papers, and I thought we'd go through them. So this is the second today in the series of regular live streams where I'm going to take you through challenging questions, provide expert strategies, and answer your questions live. So if you're preparing for the 11 plus, or if you're a parent looking to support your child, this is the right place for you. Like I said, I will pause throughout the session just to give you guys a chance to answer the questions. And then towards the end of the session, I will stop for around 10 minutes and then give you a chance to answer questions. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and let me know if you guys can see my screen. Right, hopefully everyone can see my screen there. I'm just going to wait for confirmation. So if you can see my screen, just give me a thumbs up in the comments. Perfect, amazing. Right, let's get started. So today I have handpicked a wide range of questions. So I picked a verbal reasoning question, I picked a non-verbal reasoning question, and I've also picked some math questions to go through. So without further ado, let's start with the first one. So you may or may not have seen this activity on when you're doing 11 plus practice, but this is an exercise called hidden words. And the question is normally like this. So find the four-letter word hidden at the end of one word and the beginning of the next word. The order of the letters may not be changed. Generally, the order of the letters haven't changed, okay? So normally it's the case that you will find that the letters haven't changed. It's not like all scrambled up in the sentence. It's there, right? And there's a little technique that I like to show my students to find the letters as quick as possible. So I have given you the answer for the first one, and I thought I'd explain to you how we came to the conclusion of this. Now, they said four-letter hidden word, right? End of one word and the beginning of the next word. What I do is, using my pen, I draw a line from the end of the first word to the beginning of the first word. I normally draw like about 4 letters, right? So I'm going to do so here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. In no particular order. I might start at the end. I might start at the E. Just depends. I'm going to obviously, it's all about improvisation, trial and error. This one. I'm going to draw another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to draw another 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know it sounds silly, but what I tend to do next is I try read the letters, the 4-letter words at the end that I've highlighted. So let's start doing it together. So I've got chill. That's not a word. So I'm going to carry on. Naha. or if I use the N, it's enha. That's not a word either. Then I've got debat, definitely not a word. Then the next one here I've got is sand. Sand is a word. Okay, just gonna double check the last one. Ball. That's the ball. That's definitely not a word. So the only word that is quite plausible in that one is sand. So my answer is sand. Again, same thing. People often look at this exercise and they go, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing?" Because they have a look at the sentence and they try to figure out the word just by scanning the sentence. The easiest thing to do, I always tell my students, is just draw a line from the end of the first word to the next word. So I'm going to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4 letters, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then nothing at the end, perfect. So then I've got twig. Well, ding, ding, ding. That's our word, isn't it? But I'm going to carry on just to double check. So spheri is not a word, no. Flat, that is not a word. So the one that makes sense is obviously twig. Just double check that's 4 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Right, next one. This one, I have you must. That's not a word. Okay, next one. Stop pot. That's not a word either. Right, next one. To your. That's not a word. Then here, I've got russum. That's not a word. I'm gonna keep going, just to show you something. Then I've got messin. That's not a word. Then I've got in or. That's not a word. Well, hang on a minute. Then I've gone through each. I've gone from each of the ends to the start of the next word, but I haven't seemed to find a word. Maybe I need to start a bit before. So if I start from here, I've started from you here. Maybe start from here. Oma. That's still not a word. Let me just, if I can, figure out how to do it. Oh, there we go. Change the color. So here I've got oma. Not a word, no. Then I've got, I start from here now. Astup, not a word. To your, not a word. Okay, I started from you before. Now I'm going to start from O. So hours. Ding, ding, ding. That's our word. So it's really about trial and error with this question. You have to figure out, right, do I start from the very end of the word or do I go a bit in the middle and go on to the second word? Same thing here. Let's have a look at the next one. So this one here, I've got heap. Well, there we have it. That's our word, isn't it? Now, can anyone that's watching maybe tell me what the word heap means? Because sometimes a misconception may be that you as a student, or if you're a parent watching this, your student may have found the word, but they don't know what the word is. So they skip through it because they're unsure what the word is and probably think it's not a word. So just as a little exercise, can anyone that's watching, I'll give you a chance, give you about 10 seconds, let me know what the word means. So what does the word heap mean? Anyone that's watching, I'll give you 5 more seconds. Right, I'm going to spoil it for you. So heap is like a heap, or like something that's a pile. So heap means a pile of something. So like if I have like a heap of cardboard boxes, it's just like a mass or a stack of cardboard boxes. Hopefully that makes some sense. So I'd like to reiterate that knowing words and knowing definitions of words are extremely important for verbal reasoning, because you may come across a word that you're not sure of, and therefore you may skip or you may not find the answer. So building our vocabulary is a must. So let's go on to the next one. I'm going to skip this one and go to the last one. So things like this are the most aggravating. Right, what could our word be? So let's start from here. I've got slick. Now, slick is a word, but be careful. That's not how you spell it, is it? That's S-L-I-K. We want S-L-I-C-K, slick. That's not a word. We've got this one, ethi. That's not a word. Sa, unfortunately, that's not a word. Then here I've got remo. That's not a word. I'm going to do it from here. Stag. Again, another misconception. I did this question with my student the other day, and they said to me, I can't find the word. But hang on, the word is there, and I've actually just said it, but people may not know what the word means. So stag. Stag is in fact is a word, but what does the word stag mean? So I'm gonna tell you what stag means. So stag is like a male. It has two meanings, right? It could mean either a male deer, so a male deer is known as a stag, or it can mean like in an old-fashioned way, a stag is like a social gathering that's only attended by men. So it has two different meanings, but stag is a word. And again, I'd like to reiterate, knowing your words is extremely important while you're doing verbal reasoning. Right, let's go on to the next activity. Hopefully that was helpful. Maths, geometry. So this came out one of the entrance papers for this year, actually. Last year, no, actually. So here is a right angle triangle. What is the area of the unshaded region? Now, before I go into the nitty-gritty of this question, let's just underline a few things. I'm going to underline what the question's asking me. It's asking me the area. Oh, goodness me, I've spoiled the next question for you. So it's asking me for the area. So I'm going to underline area. It's asking me the area of the unshaded region. What else do I know about the question? Well, I know it's a triangle. I know it's a right angle triangle. So looking at those important words from the question, right angle triangle, area of unshaded region. Now, the most important, the question I have to ask myself for this is area, right? This is the unshaded region. This part here, because this part is shaded, obviously. Then I've got a triangle. Now, how can I work that part out? Well, this question is quite common, and there is one way of going about this. There are multiple ways of going about this, but I'm going to teach you the way that often works, right? So what I can do is I can work out the area of the whole triangle, right? And I can work out the area of just the shaded part. Then I could subtract it to find the area of my unshaded triangle. Now, why would it be hard to find the area of the part that's unshaded? Does anyone answer that question for me in the box? Why would it be hard if I just went straight into it and go, okay, boom, bam, I'm going to find the area of the unshaded region? And why would that pose some problems for me? Maybe 10 seconds to answer. Why would it be difficult to find the area of the unshaded region? What do we know about the area of a triangle? The formula. Right, I'm going to spoil it for you. So the area of a triangle only applies to perpendicular heights. And what that means, it only applies to right angle triangles. I can only find the area of a triangle, and the formula for the area of a triangle only applies to right angle triangles. That is because area of a triangle, as you know, is base times the perpendicular height. So I write pH divided by 2. There's another way of going about it. You can also write half times base times height. So it goes either way. So you either got half times base times the height, or you've got base times the height divided by 2. Perpendicular height, it's not the height, right? You know, perpendicular height. Now, what does perpendicular height mean? This, you can see my face on the camera, this is a perpendicular height, right? Because it's where two lines meet. This is parallel because they're never going to meet. Think of like a train tracks, right? They're never going to meet, right? Perpendicular, the lines will meet. And that's why the area of a triangle only tends to apply to right angle triangles, because the lines tend to meet. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, do pop them in the box. I will answer all questions at the end. So my perpendicular height in this case is 3, right? I can't find the area of this unshaded region because I don't have a perpendicular height, right? I don't have a perpendicular height where both lines meet perpendicularly. Yeah. So in this case scenario, I'm going to find the area of the whole triangle. So the area of the whole triangle, I'm going to rub out the mess that I've made. And I'm just going to put what the area of a triangle is just for the purposes I've got. got the base times perpendicular height. We've covered that now. Divided by 2. What's my base for the big triangle? Just thinking about the big triangle right now. So it's 4 along this side, 2 along this side. I've got to add it up together. That means the whole sort of going downwards, it's 6 centimeters, right? What is my perpendicular height? Very simple, guys. It's 3 centimeters times by 3. Just substituting in really into the formula and divided by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. Hopefully you guys figured that out as well. Now I can't leave it like this, guys. What's wrong with that? You will actually not get the mark. What is wrong with that? I haven't put the units, right? 9 centimeter. I remember last week we talked about volume being centimeters cubed or meters cubed or so forth. Area, always squared. So the area of the big triangle is 9 centimeters squared. The next thing I want to do is, like I said, find the area of the small triangle. Sorry, of the shaded triangle. So let's use that formula again. What's the base of the shaded triangle? It's 4. So if we go along this side, it stops at 4. And the height, perpendicular height, same thing. So remember the point that meets perpendicularly. Yeah. So times by 3 divided by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6 centimeters squared. Now, I found the area of the big triangle. I found the area of the shaded triangle. And how am I going to find the unshaded triangle? Well, that's pretty simple, isn't it? I'm going to subtract 9 centimeters squared, big triangle area, subtracted by the shaded region triangle area, which is 6 centimeters squared. And that gives me an answer of 3 centimeters squared. You can always double check. If I know that this area, like I said, was 6 centimeters squared, 6 centimeters plus 3 centimeters is 9 centimeters squared, and that is the area of the big triangle. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. If you have any questions, do answer. Do put it into the box and I will answer it later on. Let's go on to the next question. Now, a bit of a trickier question. Okay. And simplifying expressions is obviously, it is multiple steps. So I normally do stretch out over 1 or 2 sessions. But I'm going to try to explain it to you in the next 3 minutes or so. So write down the expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. Fully simplify your answers. Now, much to think about here. Now, expression. Like I said, anytime I approach a maths question, I always just like to highlight the key words so I know what I'm looking for, right? So I'm going to highlight expression. I'm going to highlight perimeter. Rectangle is also going to be useful for this one. And I'm going to highlight simplify. Same thing. When you're doing maths questions, you want to be like detectives, right, guys? You're trying to, with maths, it's not like English, right? Maths, there's a right or wrong answer. So in order to be a very good mathematician, you need to figure out what exactly you're looking for. So expression, perimeter, rectangle, and simplify. Okay. Now, what is an expression, guys? Does anybody in the box want to tell me? I'm going to give you guys about 10 seconds to answer or so. And then I will spoil it out for you. Give you a little think. So, expressions. Expressions are different than normal calculations. They don't include an equal sign. That's the biggest thing that you recognize in an expression. They don't include an equal sign. They do include numbers, and they include like variables, and they include letters. So you often start to see when you go into the trickier side of 11 class that you start to see letters in the calculation, and that's where everybody gets very, very overwhelmed. But it's much more simpler than you think, right? I always say to them, just forget the letters. Imagine you're approaching the question as if they were numbers, right? Now, how would I find the perimeter of the rectangle? How would I find the perimeter of the rectangle? Well, I just add up all the sides together. So why should it be any different, right? Now, I know that this side and this side of a rectangle are the same. So if that's 3n minus 9, this side also is 3n minus 9. If this is 2n plus 1, remember both sides, it's a rectangle, it's a quadrilateral. The sides are the same, 2n plus 1. So I'm adding all the sides together, right? So I'm going 2n plus 1 plus 3n minus 9, 2n plus 1 and 3n minus 1, 9. I'm going to try write this as neatly as I can. So 2n plus 1 plus 3n minus 9 plus 2n plus 1 plus 3n minus 9. Now, because it's an expression and they've given you the answer question, they haven't told you to find anything, have they? They haven't said find the perimeter of the triangle. No, you're just simplifying the answer, right? You're going to leave it as an expression, which means there will be no equal sign, right? But you do need to simplify your answer. What simplifying means is basically making that really long expression that I've had just into something much shorter. What I can do is start to collect like terms. Now, like terms are basically just when terms are similar. So can you see here, I've got 2n. So I've got this symbol ending in n, and I've also got this one ending in n. I've also got this one ending in n. I've also got this one ending in n. What I can do is just simply add all the like terms together. So all the terms that have an n in it. So 2n, I'm going to circle it here. I'm actually going to change the color. So I'm going to change it to maybe red. 2n plus 3n. Guys, I want you to notice as well, I am circling the symbol before the actual term, because it's really important that you don't get your pluses and minuses confused, right? So 2n plus 3n plus 2n, and then I'm going to circle plus 3n. Now I'm going to get a different color for the other terms. So I'm going to get, maybe, let's go for blue. I am going to, again, plus 1 minus 9 plus 1 minus 9. Excellent. Now, let's add all the n's together. So 2n, actually, I'm going to give you guys a chance to write this down. See if you can figure out what all the n's together add up to. I'm going to give you guys a second. Right, I'm going to spoil it for you. So 2n plus 3n is 5n. 5n plus 2n is 7n. 7n plus 3n is 8n. Perfect. So I'm going to cross it out because I've dealt with this right now, haven't I? Now I'm just adding the numbers together. The reason the numbers are circled in the same color is because you're just adding numbers. It's like if I was to add 1 plus 3 plus 4, etc. Right? So I've got 1 minus 9, which is minus 8. Then I've got minus 9 plus 1, minus 7. And then minus 7 minus 9, which is minus 16. And there we have it, guys. That's our expression. So I just went in order, didn't I? I just went 1 minus 9. And can you see how circling the symbol before was very important? Because when I'm reading out loud, it's very easy now. I go 1, what's the symbol before that? Minus 9. I'm not going to go plus 9, no, because the symbol before 9 is a minus. That's where that's where people start to go wrong. You want to make sure you always circle the symbol beforehand. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, this is such a long-winded topic, so normally I don't explain it in 5 minutes, but hopefully that made a little bit of sense. So finally, let's go to non-verbal reasoning. I know I'm sort of going through all sorts of topics, but I thought I'd pick out some of the challenging non-verbal questions. Now, this is the activity called Figure Similarities and Analogies in non-verbal reasoning questions. Now, find the figure like the first 3. There is an acronym that I make my students learn called Never Ever Say Stop to a Cute Panda. Now, you know, should we have a one-to-one together in the future? I will break down in much more detail what that actually means. But what that means is number, never, number, say, shape, stop, symmetry, a, angle, cute, colour, panda, pattern, never say stop to cute panda. So the reason that I make them memorize that is because it's what you're looking out for when you're looking at the different shapes of non-verbal reasoning. Now, the more that you do questions, the more you apply it, it becomes much more easier. So like I said, it is something that I also spend quite a long time explaining to my students. But for the purposes of this, I'm gonna show you what I mean. So the figure of the first straight. Now I'm looking at this and what do they have in common? I'm gonna go through. So number, well, they have two shapes each. Okay, that's fine. Say the size. I've got one small, one big, one small, one big, one small, one big. Stop. The shape. Well, got circle, triangle. It's quite irregular, isn't it? It's not like something's changing. Pattern. Well, as for pattern, and another one that I also use, I show it comes hand in hand, is also the orientation and the symmetry. So that's something that also, and the movement also, that's something that also comes into never say to a cute panda. So thinking of those categories, the pattern, well, I've got a line here, and how is this line positioned? I'm thinking about the positioning now. It's positioned through the small shape into the first shape. Same thing here, small shape into the first shape, small shape into the first shape. Now, what do I notice for this question? All the figures have a line that's crossing through both shapes, right? Can you see how I've sort of used the elements to think about what exactly they have in common? Now, let's have a look. Keeping that in mind, now that I've figured out what they have in common, let's see which ones apply. Well, this line only has it covering for the first shape, so it can't be A, right? It can't be B because it's sort of going through the small shape, but it hasn't really touched the big shape, has it? Can't be B. Could that not be C because it's only going through the right angle triangle? Can't be D either because it's gone through the shape at the bottom. It can be E, and that is because it is touching the square and it is touching the circle. So it's gone through both of them. Hopefully that makes sense. The next one. Now, I have here, I'm going to think about shapes. So I have triangle, square, parallelogram, fine. I've got three shapes, two shapes, three shapes. Okay, so, number is not really applicable here as much. Okay, I'm going to think about something else now. I'm going to think about the pattern, right? And the pattern. So I've got here a three-shaped triangle, three. Then I've got four-shaped triangle. Then I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the properties that I'm thinking about, I never say stop to a cube pattern for this one. It really is number, pattern. It's a bit to do with shape. Let's have a look here. So I've got an arrow. There's nothing similar about the shapes from either side. You've got a quadrilateral here and you've got a square here. Let's have a look at the side. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7 here and I've got four-sided shape here. We said 3 here, didn't we? We said four-sided shape here. And the parallelogram is 4. Anything common between those ones? Well, I've got a triangle on this side. And I also have just noticed that I have a dotted shape in each of them. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got a 5 pentagon here. Then I've got a triangle, which is 3. Then I've got a three-sided shape here. So if I add the total, never say stop to in the acronym stands for total. If I add the total here, I've got 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. I'm on to something. 7 plus 4 is 11. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 3 is 11. What I've noticed here is that all the shapes add up, all the overlapping shapes have added up to make 11. I had a look at the other properties to think of. So shapes going to be the same shape, but none of them connect. All the sides add up to 11, and they all have a one shape with a dashed outline. So I know the answer that I'm looking for has to have, one of the options has to have all the sides add up to 11. So let's figure that out. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then I've got 4. 4 plus 4 is 8, and then plus 4 again. 1, 2, 3. Let's double check that. 4 plus 4, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. Doesn't work. Bye bye A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't work. Bye bye B. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 doesn't work. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, just double check either. Remember what I said, you can never be too sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh goodness, that's a much larger number than we're looking for. So it cannot be E, so it has to be D. Can you see how I've thought about the properties that I've got in the acronym to find the answer? And that's exactly what you're doing for non-verbal reasoning. Now, I don't think we have time for another question, but I will wait and double check. To see if we have time for one more question. Right, I'm going to give you guys one more question. So let's go through 8. So, I'm having a thinking about all the properties. So for this one, I have sort of irregular shapes. I think that, so let's count the total. So I've got the 1, 2, curved shape 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, nothing to do with this number of sides. Right, what else could I think about? 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4. I'm going to write down the number of sides that I have. 4. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. What else do I have that's common? I have a line on each of them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Then I have 1, 2, 3. What have I noticed here, guys? What I've noticed is that the number of lines corresponds with the number of sides. So I know that my shape has to have the number of sides. But then I've also noticed that I have 2 crosses. Now, what is the relevance with 2 crosses? There's no cross on this one, but there is a cross on both sides. Now, let's think about the shape, the properties of the shape. Well, in this shape, there's a curved sort of edge here. It's curved side here, and there's a curved side here. This side here also has a curved shape. It has one curved shape. Hang on a minute. I hope we're thinking the same thing. So I figured out that the number of curves corresponds to the number of x's. So can you see how we're really analyzing the property rather than rushing to find out what the answer is, or which one of the options makes the more sense, is more similar? You really want to analyze the shape, right? Again, you're like detectives. So let's find out our answer. So with A, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That does make sense for the lines, but then remember we talked about the curves, right? It doesn't make sense because there's 2 crosses, but we only have 1 curve. So bye bye A. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That works. But hang on a second. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 things. Okay. Could be B, but let's double check because I think I may have calculated something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what looked a bit odd, right? So it can't be B because the number of lines do not correspond with the number of sides. So bye bye B. 1, 2, 3. I do have a 3-sided shape, but there are no curves, so it cannot be C. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's fine, but then I've got 3 crosses, and I know that arrow does not have a cross, so it cannot be C. Looking at lots. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fine. Got one cross. How many curved sides do I have? One. That has to be. So by process of elimination, we figured out together that the answer has to be E. Amazing. Right. So that brings me to. Oh, I'm just going to exit this. So guys, that brings me to the end of the session. I'm going to wait to see if anyone has any questions, and then I'll explain a little bit about the QR code. Any questions, guys? So if there are no more questions, so as you guys can see, hopefully you guys can see the QR code at the bottom of the screen. So what you can do is you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, and what that will do is take you to the free assessment of Oxbridge X. Okay, and that free assessment basically allows you to answer questions, and then once you're done, a chance for a consultation or a free trial session with Oxbridge X, where after the trial session, if parent is happy, student is happy, we will provide one-to-one tuition with. Oh, hang on. Hopefully everyone can hear me. So we will provide one-to-one tuition with a sophisticated AI learning plan. So what that does, it's integrated with AI, so it will tailor your feedback and tailor your lesson plan according to your needs, okay, and your strengths and your weaknesses. And parents as well as students will also receive a detailed summary. And then after each lesson, you also get a quiz tailored to the topic covered. So like I said, take that free assessment, go visit the URL on the screen, or scan that QR code. And for next week's session, what you can do is if you're finding any tricky questions while you're preparing for 11 plus, send it through to us. Okay, you'll find the contact also from on the website. Send it through to us, and what I can do is next session I'll go through it with you in the YouTube session. But if you guys liked the session, which I hope you did, subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next session. And I'd like to say a huge thank you for everyone that was joining today. And I'll see you next time. So don't forget to send all your questions in. And this lesson was very fun. I'm glad it was. Don't forget to send all your tricky questions in. Scan that QR code, and I will see you next session. Bye, guys.